I thought I hit rock bottom 2 weeks ago. 8 picks, 1 win. Do the math, that's 1-7. So it was bad enough 2 weeks ago. And now I'm getting criticized because I'm not even picking. Forget picking them wrong. Now I'm getting hit on Twitter that I'm not even picking games. I can't pick every game. I can't. I wouldn't want to. We'd be doing this forever. So if you want to talk and run your mouths that you know so much lacrosse more than Mr. Lax, and believe me, they're not going to put you in the front of the class because you know more Lax than me. Okay? Run your mouth against Dylan Butler, everybody from Long Island. Okay? He's live chatting tonight at 8 o'clock. And this dude, I mean, if Jim Brown is the man that they measure lacrosse against on Long Island, well, this guy Butler's number 2. Okay? So get involved tonight. If you don't, I don't want to hear about it next week. There is nobody out there live chatting on Long Island who can do it better than the Butler. Nobody. You hear me, Cap? Okay? You hear me, Coach Purdy? If these Lynbrook kids aren't getting involved in one of the magical years they've ever had, shame on you. You should be tweeting and chatting so much with Butler that when it's done, you're going to have to get your nails done to look good in the championship game because your fingers should be bleeding. Remember, if you don't talk to Butler tonight, we ain't talking about you next week on Quick Hits. Programming note, because of Memorial Day, there will be no quick hits on Memorial Day. Here's the slate before we get into how'd I do. Long Island, Tuesday. Hudson Valley, Tuesday. New Jersey, Tuesday. Hold Connecticut till Wednesday because of the FCX semifinals, which to me is going to be the greatest semifinal matchups if everything goes chalk, unless Staples ruins it, in America. So we'll race up there after the show's Tuesday, watch the FCX semifinals, come in, do a pick segment next week. Top 20 boys, as always, Tuesday, girls top 20 with the RAF. Ugh. That will be pushed back to Wednesday. Speaking of the RAF, the last 2 weeks we did this thing, he kind of reacted live. I knew eventually the pressure of live reactions would get to him. He literally, with a tear in his eye, went to Eddie G yesterday and said, Eddie, please put me on tape. I can't handle it. So, how'd I do? Well, I like Darien, and believe it or not, the people in Darien, even when I pick them, they're against me. This was a great team effort. They beat St. Anthony. St. Anthony's got on the bus and they had to get back for an honor roll thing. They should have left at the end of the first quarter. It was over that quick. Great team effort. Darien, great. Mr. Lax, 1-0.
Big deal. You went with Darien. They were a higher seed and they won. Great.
Oh, who seeds a regular season game? Wake up. New Jersey Catholic League, Del Barton with the great mojo in the victory against Mountain Lakes in the Morris County Final, left it in New Jersey. They came to well, you know what? They didn't leave it in New Jersey for the home game. In the beginning, they brought it with them. And then they put it back on the bus. And Carney Mann put them back on the bus. Go home, Del Barton. Overtime game winner. Shami wins it by a goal.
I have to admit, going with Shamana there was gutsy, but you did it. Nice job, my friend.
Oh, that's all I need. This guy making me feel good. In Connecticut, we said New Canaan needed a signature win. Buzzio's boys, they have it now, and he can thank Harry Stanton. Banged up a little bit, still put 5 in the back of the net. The Rams are on fire. 3-0.
Wow, 3-0? Pretty good. Mike, if you go undefeated this week, I'm never coming on again.
Oh, please, please. In Connecticut, I was into this Brian McMahon team. Last Tuesday night, they gave Greenwich all they could handle. So I liked them this Tuesday against Staples. And then the sophomore, Michael Reale, who this dude they took right off the sick bed, that banged up all year. Now he's in there for McNulty running around. He had a double hat trick. Senators go home, lose by 5.
Oh, you were so close to not seeing me anymore, but you lost. Too bad.
What's worse about the loss is that his disclaimer. You have no idea, folks, what it would be like to continue on without him. And in New Jersey, the Somerset County Final. Uh-oh, wait a minute. All of a sudden, Owen Malloy said, you know what? We won it last year. You embarrassed us in the regular season. And the Notre Dame-bound goalie showed up. And he made me look bad.
Flat out brutal.
It's interesting. Okay, if Raph says it's brutal, then I guess 3-2 is brutal, and I don't like to do this, but I'm going to agree with him. 23-20 on the year. It is dangerously close. But again, they pay Mr. Lax to do what he does in the postseason, okay? It's all about just getting into the post. Hey, listen, there's a lot of teams that weren't highly seeded in the regular season that all of a sudden are running around pumping their chests out. Mr. Lax wants to be one of those guys. Woo! Let's get it on! Oh! Segue! I must have looked at the rundown. Speaking of lower seeded teams, Mike Bowler's Rocky Point team. Last time I checked, they were the 10 seed in the preseason in Suffolk B. Uh-oh, what happened? I'll tell you what happened. These guys decided we're going to band together and we're going to go on a run like we did back in 2008. When they won the state title, they went 21-1. This is by far the best season they've had in the last 6 years for their legendary coach. They bring a 10-game winning streak into this game against Sayville. Christian Dollar has all the materials. He's got it all. This team for Sayville, they've got studs. They really do. And in the first meeting 2 weeks ago, I think the game was won by Jack Sullivan. He was absolutely phenomenal for Rocky Point. Winning face-offs, scoring goals, getting people involved. He has had a spectacular, under-the-radar year. If Dylan Butler does not talk about him tonight in his live chat, get rid of him, Casey. Get rid of him. In the quarterfinals, was Rocky Point looking ahead? How can you look ahead if you're a 10 seed? Listen, they beat Glenn 13-9. Not as easy as maybe people thought. Glenn's a streaky good team. And Justin Ray, there ain't nothing streaky about this cat. Flat out on fire from Jump Street this year. Justin, 8 points in a game. His little brother Troy doing the thing. Borgia, Orlando. How many times are we going to talk about Patrick Dallin, the goalie? He's been sensational. Which leads me to Joey Sicenzia. Big Joe for the Golden Flashes has got to play the game of his life. Sayville has got the Rocky Point has got this mojo going right now. The last time they won the B title was in 08 when they won the championship. The last time Sayville won the title, Dollar cashed in 2 years ago. Sayville 12-5. Don't look at the record. Rocky Point, 16-1. Look at the record. Again, Babylon, the only hiccup along the way. If Ryan Kelly comes out and establishes tempo early in this game with those cats, Cone and Matty Seltz, they have to score first. And I think they will. But they won't score more. Put a face on Rocky Point! I will not be told by these Rocky Point people to continue to pick against them. You do your job, I'll do mine. So deal with it, Rocky Point. For the first time this year, the face is going on your team. So that means Rocky Point has got to play somebody. Okay, other Suffolk B semifinal. P.D. Mitchell's Compsawag team is red hot. If you look at the calendar, peel it back, March to April, okay, Warriors, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, we get to May. P.D.'s Cats, 5-1. Only loss, 11-10 in overtime to Rocky Point. When these two guys played earlier this year on April 10th, Miller Place won the game 12-7. Jake Bonayuta, flat out sensational. 7 points in the game. 7 points. When you look at this game and you break it down, if it wasn't for Compsawag goalie Jack McGregor, this game would have gotten ugly in a hurry. Big Jack stood in there and said, bring it on. 20 saves. 20. Get ready, Jack. Get ready. Because they're coming again. In the semifinals, he had 12 big saves in the victory against Huntington. Brendan Donnelly is playing wonderful lacrosse. Wonderful. An under-the-radar guy has put up huge numbers for Compsawag this year, who, when you look at their 10-7 record, do not get consumed with the losses. To me, I think they've had one bad loss earlier this year to Eastport South Manor. Other than that, no loss is good, but if you're Mitchell, you can handle 6 of those 7 losses because you are where you need to be right now. You control your own destiny. You do. Zach Deutsch and Kristen Stalter, this is a fun matchup in this game. Couple of guys at the dot. Let's see who controls tempo. This time of the year, it's all about who has the ball. Did anybody catch this cat, Yazarski? He's a man. Big Austin is a flat-out terror. Ask Iceland. He was running around with the eye black and the facial hair. This dude looks like he should be in postgraduate school in college. Ain't nobody on the field look like this guy. I'll tell you this right now, Lizzie. You better identify this cat, Matty Spar. The pole was running around like it was in his backyard against Huntington the other day. Hey, it's pretty cool if a pole gets a goal in a year. How about 2 goals in a playoff game? You better find Spar. This guy's feeling it right now. He's feeling it. JC Guido. Let's go, man. When you're the goalie for Miller Place taking on a team that you beat by 5 goals earlier this year, and you did a terrific job in that game, they're coming for you. They're coming for you. Last year, Miller Place, en route to the championship, sent Compsawag home in the playoffs. That was a year ago. 2013. A year later, they do it again! Miller Place is moving on to the championship game. Usually when you do things, you kind of do them in chronological order. But then there was a shot that rang out in Section 1 earlier this week, and you're like, whoa! Whoa! I have not even had the guts to either text or call my man Genevieve from Somers. Oh boy. Oh boy. Devaney going on and on about this Byram Hills team, their wonderful coach, a great X's and O's guy. Hey, they were put to bed earlier in the playoffs against Brewster. Brewster had him beaten. This guy makes a couple changes, all of a sudden, boom, they come back, they win the game. And now, just like that, how strange is it in the B to see Yorktown in the championship against somebody other than John Jay? Well, we thought maybe Somers would get there for the first time since 2010. Now it's Byram Hills. What happened? Let's break it down. Let's get it on. This is the first time these guys have ever played. And how about that? In the big stage, White Plains High School, a flat-out spectacular athletic facility up there in White Plains. If you've never been to White Plains High School, go. Second to none. It's great. Great. Listen, Byram Hills has played under the big lights before, but in the C division. In the C division. Now you're taking on big, bad Yorktown, our number 18 team, and this is why Marr plays that brutal, brutal schedule. Would he love to say, I don't have all these losses? Sure he would, but those losses prepare you for this. Look, Beautiful story. Harrison High School, McLaughlin doing his thing. He's going to be very special for Harrison High. But on this day, it's hard to beat tradition, and Yorktown rolled Harrison 15-3 in the quarterfinals. Anybody ever hear this guy, Peyton Levine, for Byram Hills? Somers knows who he is now. Why? Because with 6 seconds left in the quarterfinals, game winner, 9-8. See ya. See ya. Dylan Carlin tied the game. They were behind in this game starting the fourth quarter. They trailed late in the third by 4. Started the fourth quarter down 8-5. Outscore them 4-0. Wow. This is a team that's playing with moxie, and this is a team now, when you play at this time of the year, quote-unquote, house money. They got it. These guys are a bunch of Donald Trumps running around there at Byram Hills right now. They have house money, and it's oozing. So what does that mean? Now you're going to play free, you're going to play loose, you're going to play easy. That's why, to me, Wes Cutler's the guy. He is the guy. Because what he did against Somers for 23 minutes in the quarterfinals, a Somers team that can score, held him scoreless. What's he do down the stretch? Last 7 minutes, holds him scoreless. Wes, I hope you got a good night's sleep last night, because you're about to see stuff like you've never seen. I hope you had a great meal. Buddy, I don't want to put the whammy on you, but it comes down to you. You have to make some saves that you're not supposed to. And I'm going to tell you this. Anybody who thinks this thing's going to be a blowout, think again. Think again. Yorktown has been a very, very difficult team to figure out, except when they play Section 1 opponents. Put a face on Mars, kids! We're the 2-time defending champs, Section 1 Big Boy Lacrosse in the A division, and we get the 2 seed? Why does nobody respect Mamaroneck? Why? They get no respect. Wasn't it 2 years ago when they made the postseason with like 5 wins? They went all the way on to like, I think, a state title? They're the 2-time defending champs, and they're the 2 seed behind Lakeland Panis. There was a moment this year for Lakeland Panis where I wrote them off. That's right, you lost to Putnam Valley, a C school, in the beginning of the year. Forget it. No big deal. They're done. The game that I said, wait a minute, wait 1 second, maybe we're not going to write these guys off. It was when they lost 9-8 to Greenwich. And since that day, they've played good lacrosse. Since that day, they've only lost 2 games. To Yorktown by 2, and to Somers by a goal. Timmy Cousin, late in the game, go home, LP. In the semifinal, they rolled over Fox Lane. Murphy and Prunty doing their thing. The 2-time defending champs, Mamaroneck, beat North Rockland 8-6. And what they're going to do in this game is they're going to bring their blue-collar Mamaroneck DNA to the... There's nobody sexy on this team. There's no major college lacrosse players. John Danowski is not running to Mamaroneck to scout these guys. He's not. And that's why Alex Ewald and Danny Moore are upset. Because these guys can score, and they want respect. How do you get respect? I mean, it's amazing to think that the 2-time defending Section 1 Class A champs get no respect. Get no respect. I'll tell you this right now. Lakeland Panis knows all they need to know about Benny Shapiro. This dude, they call him Dot. They call him Mr. X because he's dominated there this year. Jake Rosen, goalie. Listen, if you win in the middle of the field and you win in the back of the field, if you can win there, you got a chance. Chance? What are you talking about, chance? They're the 2-time defending champs. I think one of the most underrated players in the section, by far, is Manhattan-bound goalie Mike Zingaro for Lakeland Panis. Guy's a player. He's a player. Last year, Mamaroneck ended Lakeland Panis' season in overtime in the semifinals. The last time Lakeland Panis won a championship in the A division was in 2010. There's going to be a new champ. Lakeland Panis going to hang a banner next to the one in 2010. What are they doing in Section 1? Do they not talk to Devaney when they talk to him in football? They talk to him in basketball? Do they not talk to Devaney about seeding these lacrosse teams? Woo! Unbelievable. Listen, and here we go. Everybody, Quick hates Pleasantville. No, I don't. No. I do not hate Pleasantville one bit. One bit. This is about the seeding in Class C. Let's get it on. How in the world do you take a Bronxville team? It's been a traveling show this year, okay? If you look at our top 20 poll and use Bronxville as a barometer, their out of league schedule has been as good as anybody's in the tri-state. Lost to our number 5 Sachem North team. Lost to Greenwich. Lost to Garden City. Lost to, who else? They lost to Yorktown. That's in league, but it's not a league game. They went out and played them. This guy Horgan will play anybody. And right now, have you noticed the smile on his face? See, the only problem right now with the seeding for Bronxville, and it comes down to this. If they send out their uniforms, I hope they had the dark jerseys cleaned. They never thought they'd be in the dark jerseys. Well, they're the 2 seed taking on the 1 seed Pleasantville. And Pleasantville's schedule has not been close to as tough as Bronxville's. Now, with that, this Pleasantville team has the flair for the dramatic, okay? All you have to do is look at some of these games they've played this year against Putnam Valley. First time, they win that wild game in overtime. You heard it. Tommy Prizeman, the voice of Pleasantville Athletics, made the call. We showed you that on the Hudson Valley Quick Hits. I wonder what the prizes call sounded like in the semifinal victory, 11-10 over Putnam Valley. But now you're taking on the 3-time defending champs who said go home last year. Go home last year. Bronxville is healthy, and that is not good news for not only Section 1, but Section 9, for Long Island C, for State C. Not good. Horgan now can smile. He can breathe easier. You see what they did against Briarcliff? 17-4. 6 guys had multiple points in that victory. Chris Dorr, get ready, pal. He's the goalie from Pleasantville. Wow. They are coming. They are coming. But there are guys that I like, and there's guys that get me excited when they talk. Like this guy, Greg Drillick. Did you see what he said to Nicole Barris from our MSG varsity reporter after that game? We are going to get them back. Uh-oh. I wonder if Horgan put the MSG varsity article on the locker room wall. Greg, a wonderful player. Woo! He's going to have to score the way he has this year. Halloran's going to have to score. They're going to have to score a lot because Bronxville, they're going to score a lot. If you don't score very easily, Pleasantville, at least 13 goals in this game, you ain't winning. And last time I checked, that goalie for Bronxville is very good. Put a face on the healthy kids! Catholic New York AA Championship. And I truly believed at the midpoint of this season, this wouldn't be a game. I thought Iona Prep would just roll through this whole thing, and then there was that hiccup, that 5-day span where Trezano's guys lost to John Jay and they lost to Rye. And then I said, that's it. It's over. But talking to Joe Hammerly, the Bergen Catholic coach, he was very, very impressed with the way Iona Prep played in a game last week. Love the way they competed. And let's face it, the Gales are loaded with college talent. Loaded. Hammerly went on and on about Orpheus, the face-off guy. On and on and on and on and on. And on. Listen, is this the magnitude in the AAA, Chaminade, St. Anthony's? No, it's not. But this has turned into a very good rivalry. And let's face it, Fordham Prep and Iona Prep is a good rivalry in everything they do. Everything they do. Last year, Iona Prep lost in the championship game after beating Fordham Prep twice in the regular season. This year, Iona Prep beat them in the regular season again, but they only played once. Omen? I don't know. Iona Prep, 14-5. 2 of those losses to St. Anthony's and Chaminade. Fordham Prep, 4 losses. 2 of those losses, St. Anthony's and Chaminade. And of course, the loss to Iona Prep. When you look at the way the landscape broke out in 2011, Fordham Prep beat Iona Prep twice in the regular season and then won the championship. That is the last time that a team has won in the regular season and won in the championship, and there's been no losses against their rivals. That is until this year. Put a face on the kids from New Rochelle! I could have picked this game when I was up in Albany on March 21st watching basketball, the Federation Tournament. Because this thing, like death and taxes, you know it's coming. You know it's coming. And I love the first meeting, I get bored with the second meeting, and then I get into this. And there are storylines galore in the Granddaddy. Let's get it on! The worst thing that I ever could have done was watch St. Anthony's against Darien last week. Oh, boy, I'll tell you this. I'm thinking going into that game that Darien's going to win it, but Weiserich's guys are going to show. And I came out of there thinking, how in the world are they going to beat Chaminade? How? It can't happen. Uh-oh, all of a sudden, you look in the roster. Wait, where's number 1? Where did he go? Oh, he got a cup of coffee in this game. JT Caputo, a wonderful player. A wonderful player, banged up a little bit before the Darien game. The big guy held him out for most of the game. And that means he will be on the field tonight at Hofstra. He will be there. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Let's break it down. It would be easy for me to say the final score in this game is going to be 8-7. What? What is this guy talking about? Mr. Lax can't even pick games and now he's picking the scores? Whoa, 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 sit tight. Back in April, Sean Cerrone had the game winner in overtime. Go home, St. Anthony's. Final 8-7. In May, late in the game, Eamon Campbell, good. Game winner, 8-7, go home. Could it be? Could it be the final in the rubber match could be 8-7? Well, I'll be surprised if anybody scores double-digit goals in this game because you have 2 outstanding goaltenders. Kincannon for St. Anthony's going to Hofstra, Isnardi for Chaminade going to Army. You have middies in this game that I have talked about for years because I love football and I love quarterbacks. And this will be an emotional night for guys like Sean Cerrone. He will never put on a Chaminade uniform ever again. He has been a phenomenal winner for the Chaminade athletic program. And then you have Greg Galligan, another middie. And these guys are really good friends. Quarterback on the football team who's been a winner his whole career. I will say goodbye to those 2 guys after the game. Hopefully I'll see them somewhere down the road. Maybe I'll go watch Georgetown play Villanova in a lacrosse game. But that's got to wait. Nobody wants to hear about Georgetown and Villanova right now. They want to hear who's going to win this game. All right, let's break it down a little bit. Let's take a look at Del Barton. Use that as a barometer. Kearney man, go home, everybody. Though we played enough lacrosse in Mineola today, and that's what he did in double overtime against Del Barton last week. Gutty win for Chaminade, down 4-1 early, got their mojo back. Cerrone got him back into that game. Isnardi, the big play late, starts the fast break. And now you look at Del Barton's performance against St. Anthony's. The last time Del Barton lost a lacrosse game before Chaminade beat him was to St. Anthony's. They had reeled off 12 or 13 consecutive victories. And Galligan that day, it was his own personal playground. He just ran around in the hills of Morris County scoring goals. Boom, ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. So you use that as a barometer. What do you get? St. Anthony's a little better. Let's use Fairfield Prep as a barometer. Let's see. St. Anthony's beat him in overtime, and Chaminade scored late to beat him by a goal. Well, that doesn't work. That's a push. Oh, boy. So, you use their meetings as a barometer. 8-7, Chaminade. 8-7, St. Anthony's. That doesn't work. So the only thing Mr. Lax has to go on is the Del Barton game. Chaminade needs 2 overtimes to beat Del Barton. Galligan and the boys run away from the green wave in the second half. Great storylines, and then you throw this in. Jack Moran, a wonderful human being and a terrific lacrosse coach, is sitting on 499 career wins. Oh boy. Oh boy. He and Weiserick are great friends, but there is no way Weiserick wants to walk into Jack's office one day and see a plaque that says number 500 versus St. Anthony's, much less in the championship. Chaminade had won this for 4 straight years until St. Anthony took it for 4 straight years, and then Chaminade took it back last year. They will put the ball on the dot at 4:45, and Moran, with those 499 career wins, is going to have to wait for number 500 until 6:45. Jackie boy, he gets number 500 against the big guy in the championship game. Woo! Oh. And that is it. We will not talk about St. Anthony's and Chaminade anymore this year on the picks because they're done. Unbelievable. Their season is over. Over. They have got to figure it out in the AAA division how to play more games. Okay, here we go. There is a big slate of games today. Okay? So if you want to see lacrosse starting hours from now, you got it. Just sit in front of your computer. Here we go. Section 1 Class A final. Mamaroneck, Lakeland, Panis. I think Panis will win their first title since 2010. Byram Hills, the Cinderella story in Class B. In Section 1, I think Yorktown will win the championship for the 4th consecutive year. Bronxville at the top seed, Pleasantville. Woo! That's at 8 o'clock. Bronxville going to win it again. Oh, the 3-school crew. Good to see those guys back. But they've had a good year. That must be a great senior class out there. I wonder how the prom works at a school like that. They're all competing for the same girls, too. And then Bayport Blue Point, that's at 4 o'clock. And then the Long Island AA final, Holy Trinity at Kellenberg. And then the Granddaddy. Number 11, Chaminade. Number 10, St. Anthony's. This is what it's all about. They've played 2, both final scores 8-7, both end late. You couldn't ask for anything more. You couldn't. We're winding down. We're winding down. Now remember, tonight, if you want to talk lacrosse, I tell you this, I know what Dylan Butler can do with coffee. He's got a Keurig all set up. He's ready to go. He told me that he would love to live chat for over 3 hours. get involved. See you next week, everybody.